Greetings, everybody. I'm Jeremiah.
That's him.
She's Vania.
That's me.
Welcome to another episode of the Beard and Curls podcast, where culture and creativity meets consciousness.
If you're new here, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Or follow us on your favorite platform for the latest, most exciting conversations anywhere.
Okay, let's do this.
Cue that intro.
What's up, guys? It's your girl, Margot Bingham.
Karen Parsons.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You're now tuned in.
You are now tuned in.
You are now tuned in to Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls. Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls.
Beard and Curls. Keep it locked.
Today, we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and cultural economics with the one and only Jessica Perez, an award-winning broadcasting journalist and entertainment entrepreneur, as well as the co-founder of GRTR Management. She's so decorated, y'all. Please be sure to check out the full bio in the show notes.
You know her, you love her. Jessica, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, I'm so excited. I'm so happy to be a part of your show today. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. We love you already.
Thank you. I love you guys already.
So today we're going to be doing a deep dive into entrepreneurship and cultural economics. But first, let's just start with the entrepreneurship piece. And so you and your fiance Castell own a company together called GRTR Management. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so GRTR Management is a creative consultancy agency that focuses on branding and speaking partnerships. A little backstory of how we created GRTR Management was I had prior entrepreneurship experience. I had my own company at the time called Industry High, where I gave the opportunity to young talent to kind of showcase their talent and share their story to the world. I felt back in the days, we didn't really have a lot of radio stations giving talents that exposure that they needed. And that's where I came in. I did a lot of branding for a lot of up and coming artists, and having a radio background, I just felt like I dived into marketing. I did a lot of creative design for artists. And also when you're in radio, you learn how to brand yourself as well. So having that experience, and Castell also being an entrepreneur, being a 3-time author, having experience in the marketing world and also in Wall Street, we kind of came one day and we were like, you know what? We need to have something together. If we're going to be together, we have to create something together. You're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. We have 10 plus years of experience in entrepreneurship. Let's do something for the community. Let's do something that's bigger than us. And that's how GRTR Management came about. We wanted to give back to the community, and we felt like there was like a gap that didn't focus on like branding and speaking partnerships creatively within our culture. So that's where we came in. We've worked with numerous companies, from Disney Plus to the Brooklyn Nets to LinkedIn. We've done a lot of great partnerships with also corporate clients, basically bringing in all of our digital marketing expertise, our creative expertise, and bringing logistics and numbers, as Castell likes to say. We do it all as far as like business and marketing and digital marketing, all things tech. And yeah, that's how we came about bringing our purpose together as purpose mate, as I like to say, and creating something for the legacy and creating something that is so much needed within our culture right now.
That's what's up.
So how do you guys manage to create boundaries between your professional, work relationship and your personal life to make sure it remains balanced?
I love this question because we get asked a lot, like, how do you guys work together? Like, it's crazy to run a business with your partner. Like, how do you guys make it happen? And first of all, I say like there's no boundaries because we're both entrepreneurs, and I feel like entrepreneurs need to be with entrepreneurs. No offense to anybody out there, but I feel like when you're an entrepreneur and you're with someone that has that same drive and that same vision, they get it. Like, I don't ever question when Castell is up at 2-3 in the morning on his laptop working, because I understand that he has a vision for us. And likewise, like, I know he understands when I have to go out and do client work or be on my laptop on a Sunday. Like, he understands. And I think that the key to it all when we work together as couple is to have fun. to really love what you do, but also have fun doing what we love to do. And I think that's the boundary. Like, have fun doing what you do with your purpose mate. I think it's just
about that. Doesn't it even feel like work? Like what you guys are doing? Doesn't it even feel like that?
It does. Well, sometimes it does feel like work because Castle is more of a numbers guy and I'm like super creative. So sometimes it does feel like, okay, Jess, you got to snap it off, because as a creative, I've also had to learn how to do business. I think that I for so long being in radio, got a little caught up with like saying yes to everything. And he is a businessman. He's like super business, super numbers guy. Like, okay, how much are we going to get? Cut the paycheck. He goes straight to the money. And I think that he brings that side where I've really had to sit down and learn like, okay, this is business. This is work. And it feels like a learning experience, but it's so much needed to have that balance as well. You know, within anybody who is working together, like you have to have that balance. For sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I like what you said, that he is more number oriented and you are more like creative. I think you guys have different strengths, and when you come together, you know, you complement each other because both of you bring something. And if you're able to value that about each other, then it's like great.
Yes. I think it's important as as purpose mate. I continue to say purpose mate. I just love the word purpose, because when two people are together, it's just bigger than you guys. I think it's very important to know that together you're building, you're building not only for yourselves, but you're building for your future kids, you're building for your community. And when you keep those things in mind, I think that it just continues to drive you, and it gives you like a clear vision of where you're headed. So it's like definitely like a motivation of, okay, I want to continue doing this with you.
Wow. No, I appreciate everything you're sharing so far. So I guess the question that I have for you, Jessica, is like, what are some things that you wish you would have known before you started that you know now that maybe might help somebody else who's maybe thinking about starting a business or going into an entrepreneurship venture, but may not necessarily have that final push to kind of bring themselves to do it?
I think this is such a good question. I'm having flashbacks to when I was 21 years old, interning at so many companies. I was jumping around from like MTV to, at the time it was CTV, from Telemundo. I was just all over the place, to be honest. I was just like, I want to make this dream happen. I want to be on radio. I want to be on TV. And I kept jumping up and down. And like, it wasn't until one day my dad sat me down and he was like, I know you love communications. I know you love your career, but I feel like you need to focus on one thing and make that one thing work. And I would give myself advice of focus on one thing and make that one thing great and see how it goes. I think that jumping around from MTV to Telemundo didn't give me that focus that I needed at the time. And I mean, it was a blessing because it really allowed me to see that I didn't want to work for those companies, that I wanted to create my own. But I also feel like, what if I would have stayed at NBC, or what if I would have stayed at Telemundo? I probably could have been like, much bigger. I probably could have been like a pioneer of diversity inclusion right now for Telemundo. So I think that it's important to know that at the beginning of your career, it's good to focus on one thing and make that one thing work and make it good.
Yeah, and that's actually interesting you say that, because a lot of times, even with her, because she's a creative type, and she has so many different things that she could do, like from singing to, coaching, cooking, all these different things that she's great at. Sometimes it's hard to really just own in on just one thing because you're good at so many different things. So I think it's really, important and sage advice that you're telling people to just own in on that one thing, and that happens to be focused.
Yes, and I can relate so much to that because like I naturally have a lot of interest, and I naturally like to explore things, and just like that's like the curiosity in me. And I like everything you're saying seems like you have that. So, and I remember one day I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine, and she told me like it's okay to plan long term. You don't have to try to do 10 things at the same time. You can focus on a few things this year, and next year you focus on other things. But for me, that's like a very foreign concept, because I don't have that patience, you know what I mean? So it took a lot of intentionality to change that mindset and be okay with not doing certain things that I also love. But I think that is like a brilliant advice to focus and make decisions that lead to that focus. So what does focus mean? Sometimes I need to leave my phone off, otherwise I can't focus, you know what I mean? So you have to find meaning for yourself, so you can be productive. And
I like that. And I also feel like in the entertainment business, it's so easy to get sidetracked. And this is where the focus comes in, because I would go to so many events, but I would network with the wrong people. Like I would, and especially because I'm such an energy giver, like I would even attract the wrong people with my positive energy. I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm in the middle of like all these great events, but I'm networking with the wrong people instead of networking with the right people. And this is where your focus and just being aware of where you are and where you want to go. It just requires a lot of focus, and especially in the entertainment business, especially.
I can imagine.
Sure.
Definitely.
And it's interesting because like Jeremiah, he is so natural at it. Like you don't have problem with focus.
No,
right?
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
I'm like, how do you do that? So he doesn't have problem with focus. He focuses. No,
I will say this though. I do have to wake up every day and just be intentional about it as well. So even though I don't have that problem, but I still make a choice every day to say, okay, so what do I want to accomplish today? And what do I want to be able to get out of today, so that way I can feel it, to not just good about today, but tomorrow and the rest of the week. And so really just being intentional, even though I don't have as much of a challenge as some others, but it's still me being intentional about making that choice every day.
Right. And I think also, I love the word that you mentioned, being intentional. I think that when you are intentional, you see things a lot more clear, and you see the goal, like what's the end goal. And for me, being a creative, it took me a while. It really took me a while to understand business. Like I had to really pick up on books and read. Like I was like, okay, I'm an entrepreneur. I know nothing about business. I need to teach myself. So I've read books like The Gospel of Wealth. I've read books, oh my God, like the Guidance 33. That's a shameless plug by Castell. But I've literally read so many books on entrepreneurship that really helped me to see things, not only create in a creative mindset, but also like business, because a lot of people who are in the creative world, they do tend to have problems reading contracts, saying no to people. They have problems with focusing on one aspect of business, and just making sure that what you do also requires a knowledge of business, and when I say business, it's everything. It's business management. It's your team. It's, how much should I get paid? It's negotiation. Like as women, sometimes we feel afraid to ask for a promotion or to ask for a raise. And I think that all of that reading really helped me to understand as a creative that I need to have these business management skills to succeed, or else I'll just get sunk in, and people won't see me as a value, but most importantly, I won't see myself as value. And I think that for any entrepreneur, especially like creative entrepreneurs who, have side hustles and they feel like they have to do it all in order to survive, it's like, you don't have to do it all. Like you can't pick one thing and make that one skill set work. But what you do need to learn is logistics. You do need to know numbers, because it all comes down to how much are we going to get paid.
That's what I was going to say, though, Jessica. As much as, you're in it because you have a passion, you want to do the right thing for your community, you want to, help others. It's still a business to make money. Like, I think I've heard this before. Like, if you have a business and you're not making money, you just have a hobby. And so, so what are some practical, things that you could share with us right now to be able to monetize, your skill set?
Yeah, I think that some practical steps that you can take is, one, read. Please read. Read, whether you want to be a writer, whether you want to be a marketing and branding expert. I really recommend that you read and take some courses. Like, school is not over. You know what I mean? Like, I'm headed back to school to get my master's. Like, it is not done. Like, we should always be open to learning. So that's the first step. Like, take your pen and paper, write down what it is that I need to learn to be successful in the marketing and branding world. Second is execute your ideas and network. Like, network. Your network is so important. Reach out to people. Like, it is not difficult to slide in people's DM and ask them questions. Like, right now we're living in an era where that is okay to reach out to people through social media and say, like, hey, I love your work. I love what you're doing. I'm a fan of what you do. Do you think you have some time to mentor me and teach me the ropes of what is it that you do? I would love to learn from you, who's an expert. Like, it's okay to do that. Back then, like 10, 20 years ago, it wasn't okay. Like, we didn't have the resources that most people have now, that we have now. Exactly. So I would say those are 3 practical steps that you can take. Really learn, gain the knowledge that you need from whatever career aspect that you would like to pursue. Learn it very well and network. Really network with people. I think that people without people, it's hard to succeed, to be honest. Like, most of my opportunities nowadays really still come from like people that I've met in the past, who still remember my name and still remember my energy and still remember, my passion. They're like, oh, like, I remember her. Let's give her the opportunity, because we already know her. We already networked with her. We already know who she is. Yeah. And I think that when you carry yourself with good energy and you network with the right people, it could take you really far.
No, I love it. It's about building those genuine relationships, those things that, can come back years later where you're like, oh, okay, I remember this person, we established rapport way back when, and now, let's connect with them again. And also you talk about networking, because like we always say, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So it's an opportunity to maybe reach out to someone and connect with them, especially now during this quarantine. Everybody's, for the most part, available to some degree, whereas maybe 6-7 months ago, you probably would hardly be able to get anybody to be able to do anything. So I think, at this point, you're doing yourself a disservice by not reaching out. And so I guess the advice not advice, but the question I would ask about that is like, what would you say to someone who maybe as personality type does not lend them to maybe reach out to people? Because you seem effervescent, you seem like you're very comfortable talking to people. What about like someone who may not be as comfortable talking with others and things like that?
Get uncomfortable. You gotta get uncomfortable. Like, things don't happen. Things just don't happen when you have a closed mouth. It just doesn't. And now we have the power of the internet. Like, you can easily reach out to people. If you're not a person that likes to interact with people in person, like, you have social media now to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you can do it virtually. Like, hey, can we set up some time on Zoom or, stream, whatever it is. We have ways where if you are a person that doesn't like to meet in person, slide in people's email people. Like, I still email people. I still go, I'm still a little old school where I email people and I follow up with people via email. I would say get uncomfortable, really. Like, I know it takes some time to really develop those skills. But I'm just thinking about this book, and it's called How to Win and Influence Friends. Read that book. Like, it will help you and it will guide you to find ways how to talk to people. You know, talking to people is a skill set, but it's also like something that it requires time to get used to, right? Because you know, we all know that networking can take a toll sometimes. When we go out to these events and we meet people, it's like the same thing over and over again. You waste so much energy, but again, you should work the room and work the room with the right people. All you need is just that one person, that one right person in the room. But really, read books, get uncomfortable. You got social now where you don't have to meet people in person. You can just slide in someone's DM and communicate that way if you don't feel comfortable in person.
Definitely. And one thing that I wanted to add also is that if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to invest also, because you have to be willing to invest in yourself. So don't think that everything should be free, you know, because that's not a mindset that you want to attract either.
Right.
Be willing to invest in things that are gonna be beneficial long term, but also like challenge yourself to have that mindset. You may not be able to invest a lot of money in everything that you want, but you can start, you know, slowly. And so that's another thing that I think.
And entrepreneurship is a journey. Like, it's a marathon. It doesn't stop. Like, I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years, and it took me 6 internships. It took me, you know, working side jobs as a receptionist and doing so many temp work in order to make my full-time entrepreneurship goal work. You know, it took me to sit down and write, you know, my first book. It's just a journey, and people think that people want instant gratitude. People want instant success. And it's just like, no, it's a process. Like, things don't happen overnight, you know? And which is something that I'm also teaching one of my nieces who's 18. She's getting into like beauty school. She wants to do her own nail salon. I'm like, okay, what are the things that we need to learn before you start promoting? Have you trademarked the name of your company? No. I'm like, okay, that's a no. Like, you can't start something on Instagram and not trademark. Do you have a website? Like, a lot of people that I meet who want to be entrepreneurs, or they say they're entrepreneurs, don't even have a website. You know, and it's just like, there are practical steps that we can take and check off boxes that we can do as entrepreneurs that will get us to succeed. But success doesn't happen overnight. And, you know, I'm now getting featured on Forbes. I'm now getting featured on Medium. I'm now getting featured now after so many years of, you know, putting my head down and crying at night. Like, is this ever going to happen, Laura? Like, should I go back to a 9-to-5? Like, what's going to happen next? You know, questioning. All of that comes with entrepreneurship, and it's okay. You're going to have good times. You're going to have bad times. You're going to have broke times. You're going to have, you know, times where you're going to be super, you know, wealthy. Like, it's part of the journey. It never stops. It's a marathon for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
So you said, should I go back to the 9-to-5 lifestyle, right? I'm curious, like, what made you decide to leave the 9-to-5? Like, when did you know for sure that you were ready?
Okay, so I always encourage people to set themselves up for success. I feel that working a 9-to-5 is still okay. You can still be an entrepreneur, a part-time entrepreneur, and work your 9-to-5 job. I think it's very important when you're working a 9-to-5, to invest in your business, save before you make the full decision to become a full-time entrepreneur, because it is not easy. You do not want to end up at someone's couch. You do not want to end up back at your mama's house. Like, please, I can't stress this enough. As a full-time entrepreneur, save while you're at your 9-to-5. But if you do have a partner that's providing, you do have people supporting you, you have it all basically, then you shouldn't even be thinking about it. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't second guess it, because you're literally second guessing your purpose. And it shouldn't be detrimental. Like, just go for it. Just go for it. Do it. Like, somebody else is waiting for you to take that opportunity to launch that business. Like, you could change somebody's life. And that's how I see entrepreneurship. Like, you have impact to change a community. You have impact to change someone's life. Like, why would you not want to go for it, knowing that you have that power in your hands to create change?
So in a way, you feel like if somebody has something to offer to the world and society, and they're not actually moving forward in that journey and that purpose, they're actually doing the world and themselves a disservice.
Yeah, it's called Sloth. And I don't want to get biblical on you guys.
Oh, no.
But it's definitely...
Go ahead.
I don't want to get biblical, but sloth, that's a sin. Sloth is a sin, and the Bible mentions how sloth is a sin, and you not doing what you're meant to do in this world is a sin. Like, you're supposed to, like, I feel like you could live heaven on earth. Like, we should you could live heaven on earth. You could pursue your dreams. You could do what you love. You could live happy every day. You could create good energy every day. Like, I feel like people have choices. You have choices, and those choices are whether or not determines if you're going to succeed or not. And it's all in your hands. Like, I love rooting for people. I love seeing people win. That drives me, especially like on social media. You see, social media is people's highlight, but it inspires me to see that someone has written a book, or it inspires me to see that people are winning. Like, I take it as inspiring. Like, wow, I want to do that. Like, I want to be successful. It's all perspective. It's all how you see things.
Definitely. No, that's what's up. I like that. And so I wanted to kind of switch gears a little bit. I know we kind of maybe on some of these already with some of the things that we talked about, but as far as like the cultural economics, like, there's a big push right now to buy Black and support, Black businesses and Black owned businesses. And so what are some ways that people can actually make that commitment and support Black owned businesses? And what are some of the ways that you guys are invested to doing that as well?
Yeah, I think that where Castell and I were definitely making a conscious decision to really invest back into our people. And I think that we've been on this wave, though. Like, we've been on buy Black, support our people, because most of the times a lot of people that have companies, they don't even hire us, So that makes you think, like, who you support is detrimental to your success as well. Like, we want to buy Black. We want to support our people. I'd rather go to our homeboy store, Savant Vision in Brooklyn, and know that by me buying a t-shirt is going to keep his light on for his business. You understand what I mean? Like, that to me is important to give back and to create power within our communities, because that's the only way we will be able to grow. That's the only way we will be able to stop these systematic hurdles that we're seeing right now, if we invest in each other. And it's just something that right now we're just making sure that instead of buying from, a 99-cent store, we support, we buy black.com, which carries most of your daily necessities from a 99-cent store. You know what I mean? I think that it's just creating that conscious decision of supporting our people and you're investing in yourself, basically. You're investing in someone's future, someone to go to college. Like, all of that is important, and all of that is providing resources to other Black and brown families. For sure.
Keep the money within the community, keep the money in our pockets and things like that. So I love it.
Yes. So I guess live in your community. Don't, like, that is so important. We complain about gentrification all the time, but why we're complaining about gentrification, but our families weren't buying the block. Like our families weren't investing in real estate. So we really can't complain. Like what we can do is create change. Ooh, that's a bar, guys. That's a bar, guys. But seriously, like we have the power to create change now. Like we can't dwell on the past of, you know, my parents didn't invest in the community. They didn't buy, you know, they weren't invested in real estate in the community. Okay, so we have the chance to create that change. And to pay it forward and to know that, okay, instead of me going to Soho, I can go to Nostrand in Brooklyn where there's a whole strip of black owned businesses and support those small businesses. It really isn't that difficult. I think that now this whole pandemic, you know, racial pandemic has really exposed a lot of people. And I think that we needed this in a good way. Like we needed to become socially aware and conscious that we need to invest back into our people. And this is a good time to be Black right now. It's always a good time. It's always a good time to be Black, but this time it's really good. Like we should all still apply. We should all still create. We should all still support, you know? And I think that we, you know, this is just a blessing for us. Okay. I don't think people are stopping anytime soon. Well, I think that people are being aware. Like, so there's no stopping. No stopping.
There seems to be a consciousness of America, and I think people are more receptive to what it is that, like you said, we've been doing for the longest time. And it's just, you know,
be more intentional. Yeah. Like you said, it's just a matter of becoming more intentional and put into practice what you know. So instead of being passive, just become active about it.
Yes, become active about it and show up for people. Really, like I don't like to talk about things too much. I like to show up. You know, if I have a friend who's promoting a book, I want to be there and support and buy things. Like I feel like a lot of our blessings also come from supporting people. Like we don't expect anything in return. You know, it doesn't hurt to buy someone's book. It doesn't hurt to repost someone's Insta story or photo and say, look, this person has an amazing podcast, Beard and Curls. Like, support them. You know what I mean? Support them. It doesn't hurt to support people.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think to that point, like we've done some of that, like even like with like past guests, like they have a book, we'll buy the book. We don't even like, hey, can you send us a book for free? No, we'll buy the book. Exactly. Or, you know, you have a course, we'll buy your course. Or, you know, we'll post some old stories or videos or some stuff that you've done, because again, we want to show that love. We want to be able to say, hey, it's not just lip service. We really want to put you on and continue to help you with what you're trying to do, because you're helping out the community. You're doing something positive. So
yes. And I've gotten people where they leave me comments. Like I remember yesterday I was checking my Insta story and this 16-year-old girl dropped a comment and said, hey, I'm selling bonnets. Can you buy one? And I was like, oh, let me go check. She was like a 16-year-old entrepreneur. She has like all these like amazing bonnets. And I bought one. Had she never dropped a comment, you know, I probably would have been like, okay, I don't know who she is, or no one would have known who she is. But she took the risk to leave a comment. And I wanted her to know, like, I acknowledge you. It's a comment, but I don't know if it was a robot, but I acknowledge you. I acknowledge that you are a 16-year-old Black girl hustling. You have your own business. I'm going to support that. I just love to see people win. I really do. I genuinely do.
That's what's up. So let me ask you this, though. Because of everything that's going on in this push to buy Black and support Black, do you think we could ever get to the point where we go back to having another Black Wall Street like we had back in the day?
Dude, that's such a good question. I feel like we have some powerful people on the rise right now, and I don't doubt that with the conscious decisions that a lot of people are making, especially like we have a lot of successful women who are entrepreneurs. We have a lot of Black entrepreneurs. Like, if we were to get together collectively, imagine the things that we can do. And I don't doubt that we can create a Black Wall Street again. I would love to see that happen. I would love to be alive and see that happen. But there's no doubt that that's a possibility.
Definitely. No, that's what's up. What's up? My final question for you, Jessica, is
yes.
What can we expect from Greater Management going forward? What do you guys have in store, and what do you have in store personally as well?
Yes. So I have in store my children's book called The Adventures of Susanna. I am ready to launch it soon. I'm so excited because my book it's been a 2-year journey. Like, I literally started writing this series of book, which is in Spanish and in English, 2 years ago. God gave me this vision that I needed to give back to children. And I was like, how am I going to do this? What is it that you want me to do, God? And the vision came to create this book in Spanish and English, and to bring different adventures to life. That's how The Adventures of Susanna came about. But this book is most importantly dedicated to my little brother who passed away from leukemia. So it's dedicated to all children battling cancer, battling leukemia. It's a personal book that I hold it close to my heart, and it's dedicated to all little kids that are out there battling cancer. And I hope that this book will touch their lives and will create magic in their hearts and their spirit. So that's something I'm excited about. I'm launching. So the first book, it's a series. I have 3 books already. So I'm going to launch it one by one. The first one, it's The Adventures of Susanna en el Parque, in the park. And then we definitely, Castel and I, have some good news coming through Greater Management. We can't say yet.
Okay.
We can't say yet, but it's something that people have been expecting from us. So we will be launching that soon. So you got to follow Greater Management on Instagram. But besides that, we're still working with a lot of our clients, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google. So, we're open to helping a lot of people who are embarking, their new journey as entrepreneurs and want to launch their business. We're open for new clients, and we're just feeling very grateful for what we have right now. So those are some of the things that we have in the works.
Sounds like an exciting time.
Thank you. Thank you
for sharing all of that. It's
of course,
it's nice to hear where the motivation comes from, and so thank you. And how can someone find you online?
Yes, so you guys can follow. First of all, please check out our business, GRTRMGMT.com. That's our official website, which will lead you to both of our social platforms. My Instagram, my Twitter, and my Facebook, it's all the same. It's ITSJESPEREZ, Perez, and
Jessica, really, thank you for taking the time and sharing all your insights with us. It's been a joy having you on, for sure.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. You guys are beautiful together. I love it. Black love. It's a beautiful thing to see. God bless you guys, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our show for today.
Thanks again for tuning in.
And as always, like it or not, Beard and Curls is the new his and hers.